The Plugged In podcast is brought to you by the Youth Fellowship of RCCG, the Life Center.
All right, so today we'll be looking at friendships and you. And then we'll also be looking at, in friendships and you, we're looking at what? Dealing with toxicity in relationships. You know what is called toxicity? When something is toxic. When something is bad, you carry it and put amongst other things. Because it's bad, it makes the others bad also. And so things get bad. So a toxic element can disrupt the whole process. And relationships are like that. A beautiful thing, but it can get disrupted because of toxic behavior. So today, we're going to run fast, and you're going to help me do it. Pastor Keji, thank you for the honors of being here again today. God bless you, man. So we are going to look at how you relate in your personal relationship, and then how you relate in your workplace. And the same way you relate in your workplace is how you relate in school. Those two places are very key. How many of us are in school here? How many of us are working? I want to see your hand up. Good. So when you're walking, that means you're not alone. So, I want us to read this together. 1, 2, go. Pay attention when people react with anger and hostility to your boundaries. You have found the edge where their respect for you ends. Does anybody understand that? The moment somebody is not comfortable with you saying, that means that person's respect for you doesn't get up to there. Do we get it? Should I explain? Who said I should explain? Quick to raise your hand. Okay, it's very simple. There are things you'd not like. For you, that's a no-no in a relationship. Can somebody give us an example? Hello? Yes? Shouldn't touch you when you're arguing. Okay? So somebody feels when arguing, he should touch you. And you say, no, don't touch. And if the person disagrees with that, it means he has refused to accept your boundary when it comes to engagement at argument level. Okay, that's one. Any other person? Coming to your house? I didn't get you. Coming to your house uninvited. There's a boundary there. You should be invited. Are we getting the drift now? So the moment I come to your house when you've not invited me, it means I'm not respecting that boundary. And for the fact that I'm not respecting that boundary, you should know who I take you to be. I take you to be somewhere that I can enter anyhow. So that should also advise how you should relate with me. Somebody that does not respect your boundary automatically has told you that your age cannot be respected. That is EDGE. Okay, so let's run faster. Now, if we go to Proverbs 13:12, what does it say? Hope delayed makes the heart sick, but a desire fulfilled is it. No, I wanted us to read it together. 1, 2, go. Hope, desire. Okay, please read it for me. 1, 2, go. Yes. Exactly. He's still talking about behaviors that are toxic. When people are in a relationship, they expect mutual respect. And giving is not always about cash or roses Oh, okay, so we have babies in our midst today. All right. But let's move on. What does Proverbs 4:7 say? Do we agree? We want to get wisdom for living today. And we're going to run about it very, very fast. The first one will be managing toxicity in your personal relationships. In your personal relationships. How do you manage toxic people? But to manage toxic people, first of all, you need to know who are toxic people. Okay, one day the ministers and workers met here and I did this quote. And a lot of people were like, oh, but this is a fact. It's a scientific fact. And I want us to read it together once again. Starting with what? Reality. 1, 2, go. 1. This is it. Okay, now let me read this one so that you hear me very well. 1 out of every 25 human beings has no conscience, no sense of right or wrong, no empathy, no ability to understand emotion. So this person has no soul. Worse still, they can mimic emotion. They see other humans as mere pawns or saps. Pawns are if you play chess. That one say if you throw this or make it chopper. If you chop, I hit him. Saps are things like when you cut orange and you lick and throw away the chaff. That's how they see life. So these guys, and these are super brains. Most of them very handsome, very beautiful. They have no conscience. They do not understand, not that they are wicked. They simply do not have a capacity to know what is right and what is wrong. They have no emotion. They can never be angry. They can never be sad. But the thing is that they are so brilliant that they know when to smile, they know when to hug, they know when to cry, they know when to do everything that you genuinely do out of emotion. They do it better than you because they have studied humans and they can display these things. So these guys, once left loose, and we're more than 25 here, chances are we have one. The funny thing is the person never knows he's one until when told. Never knows he's one or she's one. Toxic people don't know they are toxic until they are told. Should we continue? Yes, okay. Actually, this was discovered by, this woman is a prof now. I don't know why I've not amended this thing. Harvard is one of the topmost learning institutions on earth. And a lot of studies was done to come out with this. But let's go on. So let's go straight to the point. Where is the microphone number 2? Where is it? Who is with it? Oh, I need it so bad. Praise the Lord. Okay, so let me continue. Friends, today we'll be reading. Actually, if I was talking to much older professionals, I'll use bullet points and I'll be discussing and explain, we'll be just talking. But today I want us to really grab it raw. So, friends help make life more meaningful. Yes or no? Yes. They provide social and emotional support. They ease the feelings of loneliness and they help you feel happier and more satisfied with life. Yes or no? Yes, that's what friends do. Now, maintaining social connections, that's having friends, can even lengthen your lifespan and lower your risk of mental and physical health concerns, including depression and high blood pressure. That's why people like me now, every March, I travel to Calabar, where St. Patrick's College is located. And like in March this year, all my classmates, graduating class of 1982, when so many of you, the part of heaven you were that time, they're not considering earth. Okay, so we all meet and we all look at life. All of us in that class are between the range of 58 and 62. So we have gone that far. In fact, right now, 59 and 63, so to say. So that's what friendship does. It helps life to have a meaning. That's until something goes wrong. Kamini, that is my rider. So, where is my car key? Get my, okay, see my wallet. Sorry, give me that wallet. Oops. Okay. Do that. Okay. So that's what friends can do for us. But at this point, we also discover that friends are in category. So we have the ones that are not doing that in our lives. So where's the spirit? So you take this. So we'll be reading the slides one by one. Read as well as you can. I'm with you. So read this slide. You can stand up when it's your turn to read.
Some friendships might not have such a positive effect. Others might be toxic. Toxic friendships can take different forms, but they generally drain you mentally as well, bringing you down instead of building you up. We'll share some tips on recognizing and dealing with friends that cause more harm than harm.
So some friendships might not have a positive impact. Some actually take you down in the name of friendship. Okay? Now, it's critical we recognize where we're that kind of friendship. Because the main thing they do to us is drain our energy. And we need energy to be functional. So relationships can really be the cause of why we are failing in life. But before we go further, I want us to note something here. That everyone has good and bad days. Now, on a bad day, kindness does not always come easily, even with loved ones. So, how can you tell the difference between a truly toxic friend and someone who is just having a bad day? Okay, I'll give you an example. You could have a long relationship like me and my wife. By 15th of July, it will be 30 years. Okay, I just realized I'm not going to use the slides I prepared last time. So I had to do new slides. In the process of doing that, the things we said we'll do today, I couldn't really back her up. I just told her, wait, we have the whole of tomorrow. Now she didn't like that, okay? And because she didn't like it, I wasn't happy. And she too, she wasn't happy. We were generally not having a very good day when it comes to having what? A bad day. At that time, it's easy, to maybe snap, react, stuff like that, but then it blows over. That is just when somebody is having what? A bad day. But there's something also called what? Bad vibes. So a good friend having a bad day might snap at you or seem distant, but they'll likely apologize once things settle down. So if Pastor KG is my friend, as she is, where's that coming from? Immediately Sonny entered here, this thing started. Okay. So, but toxic friends, on the other hand, they tend to follow a pattern that never really dies down. They won't show much regret or inclination to change, even when they realize that they made you feel bad. Do we understand the difference? A good friend that makes you feel bad will realize he has made you feel bad. and he knows he made you feel bad because he was having a bad day. Girl, sorry. Boy, sorry, I beg. I wasn't myself. But a toxic friend will get to all of that. Even if you say sorry, say, but you're supposed to understand. Once that but comes in, whether he or she realizes it, has gone defensive and is trying to justify and takes away the very key thing in what true friendship is about. So we're back to our microphone. Where is it? Okay, so pass the mic to the next person. Now, I want us to read this slide by slide. So you're taking this slide. How do you know a toxic friend? Are we all paying attention?
Yes, sir.
Number one, begin to read. Yes. Please read loud.
Put you down.
Yeah.
These are okay with friends. Do not spend a friend regularly to meet you.
Do you understand that? What does that mean? Friends joke. We had one guy in my class with one eye. We used to call him One Eye Sunday. And he got used to it and expects people to call him that. We had one that came in with very serious English deficiency. So whatever the teacher says, he will do like this. And we called him Agama Lizard. So when we met even in March this year, the guy has just retired as a permanent secretary, Agama Lizard. But he had become, he could even be a broadcaster. He was that good at this point in time. But what I'm trying to say is that those jokes between friends have limits. You know when to use it. You know when not to use it. You don't demean your friend just because there's something you can use to make the person feel miserable. Go ahead.
Makes you never maybe you get the feeling you did that shout.
I want us to read it slow.
Maybe you get extremely irritated and shout at you over tiny things, like forgetting to turn off the TV or not wearing the jacket next to you. Then the next minute you act as if nothing happened.
Have you ever seen that kind of thing? Your friend does something that is really painful and then begins to act as if, what is in that? And what again? That is toxic behavior. If you do something that has hurt somebody, it's expected that you should be genuinely concerned that that person has been hurt. Yes, I borrowed you my jacket to use, which is common in our days. So these days, everybody has clothes, so you don't borrow. And I'm telling you, I wore 2 sets of suits on my wedding. One of them I borrowed from my friend Jude. Yes. We didn't do the things people are doing now. My wife, her wedding gown, we went to our back, we rented it. On Monday, I returned it and collected balance. Are we not still married? If we kept it for what? So, if you're not returning my jacket on time, I begin to talk anyhow to you, you feel bad. Because if you had it, it wouldn't have come to me. So those are the kind of things we are talking about. Yeah, let's go on. Third thing.
Things that toxic friends do. Gossip.
Yeah.
You told your friend something with confidence, and the next day, your entire social circle knows it. Someone who consistently breaks your trust probably doesn't care much about your feelings.
Do we understand that? We take it for granted. And it starts small. And we think it doesn't matter until a major thing happens. If somebody you confide in and says, please, this is between you and I. Tomorrow, everybody is talking about it. Something is, there should be respect. If I trust you, you should respect that trust. Please go ahead.
Apologize without sincerity.
Uh-huh.
When you call them out on their behavior, you shrug off and distress. You shrug off your distress or keep it sorry. Instead of taking time to consider your perspective, they say, I'm sorry you feel that way. Some follow up their apology with expensive but example, I'm sorry I hurt your feelings, but it was just a joke. This non-apology suggests someone doesn't really care how their actions affect you.
You see, the essence of this session is that you are very young people. You should learn to recognize they call it telltale signs. When somebody tells you, Kai, I'm sorry about the way I spoke to you, but honestly, no, that's how I talk. That's not an apology. It's not an apology. But of course, it's a joke. I joke with everybody, it's only you. That is not an apology. That's an insult. The person does not respect your space and the fact that you were hurt by what he said. Are we still together?
Yes, sir.
Am I moving too fast? No. Thank you. So let's keep going. Who's next?
Things that toxic friends
Yes.
leave you unsettled.
Aha.
Spending time with a close friend should make you feel good. Generally speaking,
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
but spending time with one particular friend leaves you confused or upset. You might not even have a good explanation why, but when you leave them, you feel more relieved than the second day.
Did you get that point? Let me read it again. Spending time with a close friend should make you feel good on a general note, generally speaking. But spending time with one particular friend, that friend is one of your friends that whenever you spend time, instead of feeling good, you end up feeling uneasy or upset. You might not even have a good explanation. The problem with toxicity is you can hardly slap something on a toxic person. Because if they say, what did he really do? It will be difficult for you to really explain. So, but when you leave them, you feel more relieved than, disappointed. So what we're saying here is this. There are friends that you meet, you gist. When you leave your friend, you're like, Such friends are toxic friends. Has anybody ever experienced that type? Okay, are you still running around for me? So what were you doing before?
He was calling for director.
These people. And he will collect money. Okay, let's go. So do we understand this one? When somebody makes you feel unsettled in a relationship, that person is toxic. You're with your friend, when you're leaving your friend, you feel elated. Tomorrow you feel like going back there. Like they say the goat, there's this African proverb about goats. You know how to steal a goat in the village easily? People will not know. Does anybody know the easiest way to steal a goat? Salt. It's salt. That's it. The way, if you want to steal a goat, how you'll be caught is they'll what do you call that thing they do? I've forgotten the name. They'll bleat, right? That's bleating. But if a goat is licking its mouth, it will never bleat. So what you just do is time it when it's not seeing very well, or when it's not seeing, hold the mouth straight with small salt. That's what the thieves do. And the goat will begin to lick that mouth. It will lick it forever until they carry tie leg is still licking the mouth. Don't go and still go to. So anyway, that's on feeling unsettled. Relationship should not make you feel unsettled. Let's go. Who's next? Okay.
things that toxic friends
Yes?
compare you to other
Yeah, speak louder.
compare you to other people.
Yeah.
A friend who likes to point out the way you don't measure up to their other friends.
Uh-huh.
Maybe your apartment is smaller than his apartment, so it's not as fun to hang out with you.
Mm-hmm.
Or dressing more like you maybe cooler.
Mm-hmm.
Using peer pressure to get with clothes very much all kinds of fun.
Do we understand this? This is toxic. Somebody like this is a toxic person and is pushing you into a toxic relationship. Somebody that likes to point out the ways you don't measure up. And he will try to make it look as if it is positive. Of course, it's good to encourage your friend. That's what relationships do. Iron sharpeneth iron, but not through condemnation, not through bringing down. So, a friend that likes to point out the way you don't measure up is toxic. Talking about the fact that because your apartment is a small one, get a CB, I mean, we can't do this evening hangout in your house. Assuming you used to sit down, drink Coke together and just, you rather, it makes somebody feel less confident. And okay, if you're a babe, if you should dress like a bear, at least you look better. Must you dress? There are those small things that are toxic, and you must be mindful. You won't know it's hitting you, but it's actually eating you inside. That is the entire thing about this toxicity thing. It's eating you inside and you do not know. And because it's eating you up, it's affecting other things in your life, including other relationships with other people, including your work, including your studies, and so on and so forth. What's the next one?
Things that always put themselves.
No, if you're not, some of us are mathematicians, but mathematicians are not very good readers. They will just calc. If you're in the category that you rather deal with numbers, when you collect the mic, pass. Or do you want to read? Thank you.
Things that toxic friends put themselves in front and center.
Put themselves in the front and in the center when? Always. Go ahead.
The problem when things are going good or when they need something. But when you are struggling, they can't reach them.
You can't reach them at all.
Some friends can go on for an hour or their words. When they finish venting, they offer it. And how are you?
Before quickly turning the conversation back to themselves. Now, what we're saying here is this. This category of toxic people are fair weather friends. Life is all about them. When you are with somebody that is always about him, always about her, please be careful. Be careful. We are doing all of this so that we knew last time who we are. So how we manage who we are and how we manage who others are depends on our knowledge of all of these things. So what do these fair weather friends do? They drop in when things are going well or when they need something, but when you're struggling, you can't reach them. Now, some of them, I'm sorry to say, I don't know, but I've observed we tend to have this second category more amongst our ladies. Yeah, maybe because guys don't talk much. They just sit down and drink and do other things that are even worse than talk. So these ones can go on for an hour about their recent problems. When they finish venting, they offer a token. They now remember they are talking to a human being. Oh, but you, how are you now? Before you even finish answering the how are you, they have continued again. Straight back to their own wahala. As if you don't have a problem, you can also share in the conversation. Have you seen this type before? is a very toxic thing to do. Okay? So true friends don't just take, they also offer empathy. Empathy is when you feel for the other person as if you're that person. Okay? They offer empathy for your concerns in circumstances, good, bad, or anywhere in between good and bad. Good friends are like that. Not the ones that you're in trouble too bad, you're on your own. I used to have a friend that always drew the analogy that there was this writing that if you have a good friend, when you're in trouble, a good friend will do what? Will bail you out. What will a good friend do? Bail you out of trouble. But if you have a true friend, if you're in trouble, he's in the trouble with you because you were together in it. So that's friendship. Okay, so next, who is with the microphone?
Things that loving friends
Okay.
try to change. Someone who tries to change things about you may not be an ideal friend.
Aha.
A true friend understands that people have different personalities and they will accept you for yourself.
Okay, Pastor KG asked us a review of last session. So, we have come to the knowledge that we are different, yes? Some of us, our best moment is when we are on our own. Some of us, if we stop talking, we will die. Some of us, we're different. And once we recognize these things and accept, that is when we have true friendship. Okay, go on, ma.
If you ask for guidance on something you like to change, they might provide support and encouragement. But they will probably wait for you to ask instead of telling you what to choose.
Those are true friends. A true friend waits for you to ask instead of putting it on you. Sometimes we think when we do that, we are challenging the person to be a better person. Oftentimes, there are better ways than doing an accusation. Jam form has come out. You never fear. There are ways you could put that. Or you could wait for the person to talk about jam form. That is, or something, things happen. You've gotten to, sometimes it's a joke. And some jokes, like I'll joke with Emeka sometimes. I know where to cut the joke. I'll tell Emeka this year, by December, I will do bachelor's for you if you don't marry. But that comes on a joking note. I know exactly when to cut that kind of conversation, and I'm mindful of the people around him when I'm making that kind of joke. Must be inner cycle. Otherwise, there's something wrong with trying to change somebody. He has a right now to marry. That is the truth. Okay, are we okay? Do we understand this one? Somebody trying to change you. Somebody trying to change you to like the colors he or she likes, to speak the way he or she speaks, to, generally live the way he or she lives before you're acceptable, is a toxic person. If you're good enough for that relationship, that person should accept you exactly for who you are. Does that make sense? If there are any questions, we'll take it. Okay, what's the next one? Okay, so we are crossing to the next thing now. How toxic friendships affect you? How do they affect you? Who is with the microphone? Yes. Okay. Stop at the full stop. Aha. What does that mean? Who can tell me that? Toxic friendship can have a pretty significant impact on overall well-being negatively. What does that mean? No, just your hand up and then I'll point you out. Who wants to say something? Yes? Huh? Oh, okay. Toxic friends can make you become toxic. Okay. Make significant impact on your overall well-being. That's the thing. Overall well-being. What this is saying is that toxic friendship can make you mentally sick, can make you physically sick, can make you emotionally sick. Toxic friendship can make you fail interview. Toxic friendship can make you lose a good relationship with someone else. It can make you go back and have issues with your parents, with your siblings. It can make you commit errors. It can make you have accidents while driving. Just a conversation, and you leave the conversation. Oh yeah, that baby needs attention. Pity. That's motherhood for you. That's why we should always appreciate our mothers. We all did what their child is doing. All of us. And the mother came here to be part of this, yes? That's what we're saying.
If you notice any of the following signs after spending time with a friend, you may want to consider
Re-evaluating the friendship. So there are some things we want to look at now. If you notice any Pastor KJ went to close the door. Yeah, the door will not close. I used to have a colleague, a very useless man, Linus. Linus will beat his wife, even when the woman was pregnant. And I'll go to Linus and I'll say, are you not ashamed? Are you a man? Beat up a pregnant woman. Linus will look at me, he's very short. He will look at me like this. I say, pregnant. Is she carrying Jesus Christ in the Is she pregnant for Jesus Christ? Anyway, so when I saw her close the door, I said, it's like, you must cry here. All right. So if you notice any of the following signs after spending time with a friend, you may want to consider re-evaluating that friendship. Can we go through them? Who is the next person? What's the first sign? How toxic friendship affects you. This is very important. So number one is what? Young people, my voice shouldn't be louder than yours. Though. Okay, let me tell you something. Like Emeka, you should have taken us on this before. Okay, you should have a day you take us on technicals, for example. So this machine, this is actually a more advanced one. So if you go to the ones you see in an average Redeemed church and so on around, they just have a little chip here that takes your voice. Okay, you see now, I'm keeping it here, you can hardly hear me. I'm keeping at this same volume of voice. If I turn and bring it this way, you can hear me now. So whenever the microphone is in your hand, don't do this. Don't do this. Do this. Okay? Thank you.
Spending time with friends should increase your sense of connection.
Mm-hmm.
It builds friendship by making you feel understood. You reach out to make your
We are really not hearing you.
You reach out to make your plans, but you are left out of group events and your messages go unanswered. Unless, of course, they need something from you.
Do we understand this one?
Yes, sir.
Can somebody explain what you understand? Anybody? We're saying that one of the effects of toxic friendship, how to know that the thing has started impacting you is what? You feel lonely and isolated. Now, spending time with friends should increase your sense of connection. Yes or no? Yes. But in this case, a toxic friendship might leave you feeling ignored instead. You reach out to make plans, but you're left out of group events and your messages go unanswered. So if it is in a group of friends and you discover that, a very simple thing, I'll tell you an example. You have a WhatsApp group chat Every time they're posting, somebody is making, even somebody will just write there, meow, cat, cat. 10 people will answer. Another person will say, na you sabi. 15 people will chat. You take your time to write. Considering the matter, I think this is how it should be addressed. Bam, no single answer. If you like, you can behave as if it doesn't mean anything, but it is telling you something. You're within a toxic environment. You must not, you see, this thing that people used to say, it's for real. If you can be where you'll be celebrated, then don't go and hang around where you are tolerated. Okay, so these people will only answer you if they need something from you, and you call them your friends. They are not. So if you feel lonely and you feel isolated, but you're in the midst of people, it means that there's a toxicity at play. Next person, who's with the mic?
Your stress reduces, increases, sorry.
I like that. Yeah, because you actually, the expectation from friends is what? Your stress should what? Reduce. But in this case, go on. Your stress increases. So,
reduced stress is what key benefit from strong friendship.
Exactly.
Seeing friends might not always make you feel 100%.
Sorry, 100% that's supposed to be. 100%, sorry.
100% or you will probably notice something.
Yes.
It's talking to them, apart from helping reduce stress, and out of it, they might say or do things that upset you when you spend time together. Even when you are not with them, you spend a lot of time thinking back to your negative interaction, which can make you feel relaxed. The reason giving the right outcome.
If there's anybody here that has not gone through this, you're the luckiest human being on earth. There are some friendships that even after you have left that friend or those friends in your private space, maybe in school, in your office, in your house, or you're doing something, your mind is going back there. And once your mind goes back, you lose your peace. You're not even talking when you're with them, or when you're with them is just a mess. But you have left them, and on your own, still, you're feeling tense. If somebody in your house is talking to you by that time, you'll be like, please leave me. And hello, something wrong there? Hello? Okay, so that happens again. What I'll just do, I'll come and sit there and you'll come here. I'm serious. Is that okay? I promise you. So you two can promise me you'll come over. Okay. So whenever you're in a relationship that you're not comfortable, when you leave the person, you're feeling uncomfortable. And even after having left the person on your own, the thought of the person or the thought of the meeting in that group is still bringing you concerns. It means you're in a toxic relationship. So that is how it affects you at the level of increasing your stress. All right. The next one.
How toxic friendship is number 2. Don't feel supported. Good friends offer support when you need it. Even if it's not tangible, releasing empathy and offer validation for stress and pain.
Even if they're not coming, if it's a cash problem or even if you lost someone, they cannot bring the person back to life, or you didn't pass interview or exam, or whatever it is, you lost out in a relationship, good friends, they won't be able to bring that physical thing back to you. But they will validate your feelings. They'll make you feel, look, it's okay to feel the way you're feeling, man. I'm with you. I feel you. That's what good friends do. And as a result of that, you have some support. Some very good ones will come and sit down. They will not even open their mouth. Their presence alone is just absorbing a lot of stress from you. There are some people like that. They'll just be sitting. You're going up and down in the house. If you're the type that goes up and down when you're stressed, they're watching you and you're feeling better. Am I saying something?
Yes, sir.
So, go on.
In a toxic friendship, never feel that support or compassion. You feel embarrassed when you go through the moment you stop responding to your
Don't get into problem when you are in a toxic relationship, because that is when they will end. They just, what they bargained for wasn't that you're coming with your baggage of problems. They have enough of their own. So any day you're done with your problem, come back. Until then, I beg, day your day. It's not a funny thing. Please be mindful when you see yourself in a relationship like that. It is not acceptable. Okay, let's go because of time. Who's next? Okay. I cannot see your voice. So do like I said, this way. Thank you. You might what? So you get used to being treated like trash. It's wrong. So somebody keeps consistently treating you like trash till you believe that you are trash. Go on. Your self-esteem, especially at this young age, is like a propeller. Is what takes you up there. So when somebody comes to cut it down, and you know what is called self-esteem? That belief that I can do it, I am that person. Pastor KJ, how many minutes do I have left? 10. Okay. So that's it. As you begin to believe their put downs and start to doubt your own strengths and capabilities, your self-esteem may begin to do what? Diminish. Who is the next person? Okay. This is a terrible situation to find yourself, especially in a group. You have been so manipulated that you think you're the one that is wrong, even when you're not wrong. They lash out at you and you believe you deserve it because your self-esteem is gone. You might decide they never offered support, so you justify they're not helping you because you think it's because you're the one always asking for help. And what's wrong with your asking for help anyway? So they should accept you as the one that used to ask for help. Otherwise, either you find yourself out or they kick you out. You shouldn't be in the group. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So do not accept to be the one that should be treated like trash. Okay, go on. So they keep telling you there's something wrong with you, and you now believe there's something wrong with you to the extent that you feel it's a privilege to even be associated. After all, you have too many flaws. If you look at their own flaws, they're bigger than yours. So this is another toxic outcome of relationship. Okay? Now, I'm going to take the rest so that I'll catch up with time. You often feel off balance. People who behave in toxic ways often use manipulation to get what they want, and manipulation often leaves the impression that something is not quite right. So you might feel as if you never know the right thing to say or to do. And why? Because their reactions or overreactions can unbalance you. Whether it's in church or at work or in school, people keep reiterating that you're not good enough, or you're not doing it if you were to dress like a bearer, or if your pad was like Tony's, and you gradually believe you're deficient, and as a result of that, you begin to lose confidence in what you can offer. If it is in speaking or in singing or in anything at all. So, as a result of that, you're always, in fact, you'd rather not say something. That is how that goes. And then your other relationships suffer. One toxic friendship can slowly but steadily begin to poison other good relationship. Once you start to doubt yourself, you might see yourself as a poor friend. Once you think you can't be a good friend to people, you begin to keep alone. And once you begin to keep alone, your life begins to go down. You don't want that to happen in your life. So even if you don't start doubting yourself, you might find it difficult to trust others. You might wonder if everyone sees you as flawed, boring, or unsupportive, and begin avoiding people. You don't want to do that. If people have made you lose confidence in yourself, as a result, you're avoiding people, stop it. Instead, avoid those people that are making you uncomfortable. Are we together? Please know yourself. So, can we read that top together? 1, 2, go. So, it starts with so. 1, 2, go. So, now you know. What next? These are the things that are next. Once you realize that you have a toxic friendship, what do? Try talking yourself or talking to your friend first. It's possible they don't realize just how unpleasant their behavior is. Like I said, a lot of toxic people don't know they are toxic. Now, if you want to salvage a friendship, this might be a good first choice. The other choice involves ending the friendship. Now, if you want to give the friendship a second chance, you want to be careful. You have to find a way to interact with the person, normally in a place that we'll quickly see. Use I statements. For example, I feel hurt when I hear negative comments about my hair or clothes. In the future, please don't mock my style choices. Do we understand? That is called an I statement. I feel hurt when I hear negative comments, but there's another way you can put that. You like to make negative comments on me. Your comments are, now that is not I again. So already you have declared war once you start with you. So you want to make it right. I forgot to say, I think people have a platform, yes? And most people here have smartphones, yes? By God's grace. So this will be there. Because you'll be reading through this and it will help you, one way or the other. Now, the other option is terminating the relationship. If you try and it has no positive benefits for you, your conversation that you tried on the other slide didn't work, then please go for an end. And how do you do that? First, take space for yourself. You need to separate. 2, practice ahead of time. It's not every relationship you can just walk and shut down. So please practice ahead what you will say. Otherwise, you end up, by the time you finish, as you're walking away, you remember, this is how I should have said it. And you feel very stupid. It's a very common feeling. So anytime you feel that you're not alone, people do that. Always practice what you're going to say. Be direct. There's an issue. Face the person head on. Tell the person this is why it can't work, or the persons why they can't work. Think carefully before going back in touch. There will be certainly things that made you have that relationship. Girl to girl, boy to boy, boy to girl, workplace, church. If you're ending, those good moments of old will come back. Think very well before you want to reignite those old touches. And please, do not as a result of that shut yourself out. Open up to others. This is normally a big issue if you have mutual friends. So me and Emeka and and Tosin. Why Tosin? And you? And like I said, 10 of us are good friends here. And then I want to severe relationship with this particular one. I have reasons I want to severe relationships with this one. And I'm afraid of what the other 8 will say, how they'll look at me. Please, that shouldn't be your problem. So if you and a toxic friend have mutual friends, you might worry about how they'll react. Don't feel you have to give more details than you feel comfortable with. You might just say, I decided to end the friendship because it had a negative impact on my well-being. End of the story. Or just something along those lines. That is sufficient. Please save your life first of all. Take care of yourself. That's on a final note on this side. Once you end a toxic friendship, take time. Spend time with your loved ones. Everybody has some loved ones. Make time for quality sleep. It is important. Sleep heals. And then focus on enjoyable hobbies. Do you know one of the hobbies, once I get a bit upset and I have an app on my phone. It's free. You download to watch the stars. You watch the clusters, you see the movement, you see how all of these things that they make like impossible. Even when you point it down like this, because the earth is spherical, so the app doesn't recognize the earth, it will still see the things that are on the other side of the sphere. So you do something like that, and you're good. Now we are going to wrap this up this way. In conclusion, how do you manage toxic people in your workplace, in church, in your department, maybe in church, in your school, in your team, and so on? Can we quickly wrap it up here? Hello? Now, I'll skip this, you read this. I'll skip this, you read this also. I want to take us here, because this is where, especially as young people, we have issues. We fight, we disagree, and that issue that we did on the other side, we now confuse it. I don't want it to confuse us, which is your personal attributes and other people's personal attributes vis-a-vis or versus toxic content. So, toxic number one. What is the name of toxic number one? It's like when we say worker here, church worker, co-worker in your office, your classmates, your teammates, wherever you find yourself in a group, you're all workers in that group. Is that okay? So that's the definition. Now, the slacker is a major drain on co-workers. This person rarely completes tasks but seems to have plenty of time to chat and generally disrupt others. The slacker will try to get away with as much as possible and relies on others to cover for them. Have you ever seen this kind of person? Do you understand what I've just read? This is a toxic person. And you have to also know if you're in this category. So that if you're like this, know that it's time to change, because you're negatively impacting other people. If others are like this, you have to tread carefully, because they can poison you. Poison you means they can make you begin to behave like them. After all, nobody my get this place. Number 2, what is their name? The complainer. Infects co-workers with a bad attitude, always finds something to complain about. This person looks for support within the office and is persuasive enough to start an internal riot given a chance. This guy, he can complain for Africa concerning the life center, concerning your department, concerning youth fellowship, meanwhile, if he can make you stop coming for this fellowship, but come back in 5 months' time, he's still there, complaining to anybody that is bothering to listen. In your office, you will see them a lot in your office. Oh, how? Don't worry, you're welcome. I go clear you for this place. Not as you did. Because all this guy. If, they complain. They are the first persons to point out how long the meeting was and how unfair the organization's policies are and how no one else rearranges chairs after the meeting, even when they did not carry one chair. They are very good at complaining, and they can cause riots. Be careful with those people. And if you're like that, don't be doing it again. Can we go to the next one? What's the name of the next one? The saboteur. The saboteur destroys morale and creates paranoia. This person thrives on chaos. He likes to stir up things and then offer some constructive solution. There was no problem like technical people tried to do for me here. And then finally the thing is up. Meanwhile, from the beginning, that thing could have been up. So, but anyway, that's by way of a joke. I think they had to correct some things. But in reality, there are people like this. Very simple things, they make it look complicated. Then they'll make it look like they are the ones that brought the solution. This is very toxic people. They want credit and they will steal credit if necessary. Yes. He is also a skilled manipulator and is quick to align himself with the up people. So in your office, you always see them. And where you have the ogas and so on. In church, you'll see them with ministers and pastors, things like that. Always where they can be seen and so on. So please, you want to be mindful. And if you see yourself sounding this way, also realize that that's a toxic content and deal with it. Then the super ego. This guy distributes, he disturbs the flow of work and demotivates others. This person is arrogant and is controlling, constantly teaching others how to do things the right way and interfering with other people's opinions. They'll leave their work. Their work may not even be complete. They have a better idea about how another person should do their work. Go and do your own. So we have those ones. You want to be careful in relating with them, otherwise they'll give you vibes that might disorganize you and make you disrupt your own flow and fail in life. So they are often short-tempered and usually dismissive of other opinions, talents, and efforts. In the workplace, these guys are very clean. They wear the best suits. They look trim, fit, and proper. Very dismissive. Either you do the way they want or you don't know what you're doing. Okay? And finally, the dependent. These guys interrupt focus, and I want you to pay attention here. And they steal energy. I don't like people that disrupt energy, not to mention steal. This person always needs something and has no reservation about interrupting someone to get what they want. They will lose almost anything and can't or won't try to find it themselves. If we share pen and paper here to everybody and just say, okay, let's write. Before you know it, one person in this place will ask somebody, you don't finish your pen. What happened to your own pen? Within 10 minutes of collecting. So in the office, you find them a lot. If you're having things, they share from stapler to everything, they will manage to lose their own. And it could be when you're on top of a very technical work. That's now beg, pass me your. So it is a very disruptive and a very highly toxic behavior. So no matter how many times you instruct this person, he just doesn't seem to be able to do anything on his own. I'm going through all of this so that we are mindful, because in us are a lot of the things we're talking about, so that we are cautious in relating with people that are like this, and we are also cautious with ourselves. Technically speaking, those are all the 4 types we'll find in team environments, whether it is school or office or church, especially church. Don't make it allow you fail in your department or your colleague in church just because somebody amongst you is toxic. So now we also know the types of toxic workers we have, and we also have toxic leaders. When you have toxic leaders, most of the time you just pray that God will change them, because you can't really do much about them. You have excessive monitoring, micromanagement. Does anybody here know what is micromanagement? Hand up, let me hear you. Not you. Who else? Okay, you know. So tell us, what's micromanagement? No, go ahead. I think you have a loud voice.
For example, if I have my secretary and I've got to perform based on what you can like, I end up telling that one to do like I'm holding an hand, not letting her. Okay,
let me take this microphone. I want you to take this microphone to the person that just spoke now, so I can hear, we can all hear him. No, come back, follow this way. You climb the carpet, follow the back. Follow the back. Okay, go. When you get to Pastor KG, you turn left. Go, or you want to pass middle? When you get to her, go. You don't know the person again? Keep going. Make sure you don't give to another person. No? And don't step on that man's shoe. I think he has a bad leg. Okay, okay. Okay. Now, so what I've just done, I have just micromanaged him. It's very bad leadership. If I'm a leader, I am not supposed to do that. When your leader does that to you, he makes you incapable. He shows he doesn't trust you. He makes you feel small. It's a very toxic behavior. You never begin to have the confidence in yourself. Employee bashing, being unreasonable and demanding, unappreciative, no matter what you do, is not appreciating, abuse of power, self-serving, and questionable ethics. We find all of this maybe in our lecturers, in our bosses, and so on. But what we do is we know that they are toxic, and once we know they are toxic, what do? We give space. Only on need basis do we go near toxic people. Otherwise, they will affect us. That is as far as leaders are concerned. For the other ones, we seize those relationships. It's easier to handle seizing than managing it. There are things to do about that, and we can read that up. There are do's and don'ts in trying to correct their behavior. We can read all of those up. And I think technically speaking, I am done. Thank you.